A very good evening to all of you and welcome you to the press conference conducted by the Press Information Bureau. I'm Ritu Shukla, the Additional Director General. The press conference is also being streamed at the PIB social media handles. Today, we are very glad to introduce you to the International Competition Jury. We have with us Rakesh Om Prakash Mehraji, who is the chairperson. We have with us Graham Clifford, who is the member of the jury. He's an editor and director from Australia. We have with us Catherine Schuttler. She's an actor from Germany. We also have with us Chandran Ratnamji. He's a member of the jury and also filmmaker from Sri Lanka. And we have with us Remy Edefosen. He's a cinematographer from England. Please excuse me if I have not pronounced your names properly. So before beginning the press conference, I'll just have a brief introduction about this year's international competition. The international competition category. This year, the international competition category unveils a carefully curated selective selection of 15 fiction feature films representing a vibrant landscape of global cinema. The lineup brings together a rich blend of cinematic visions from the celebrated craftsmen to daring newcomers. The section, including three remarkable films from India, showcases both homegrown innovation and resonant voices of international filmmakers. These films don't just tell stories, they provoke, illuminate, and reimagine the world we live in. So now with the introduction, I'll request Rakesh Om Prakash Mehraji to give his opening remarks.
Well, good evening, everyone. So it's been personally for me, it's been a humbling and experience to work along with such a qualified jury, and there was so much to learn, and we enjoyed watching the films. I must say the selections were bang on, and they were from various cinemas of the world as such, and each film was had his own individualistic brilliance, which made it so much more interesting. As such, there was loads of originality out there, so it was always surprising us. It didn't feel like, oh, I've seen this before. Yes, like any other festival, like Christmas, Holi, Diwali, Eid, this is our festival. It's called the Film Festival, and we celebrate it, and with all the warmth, and we enjoy it. And I must give it to the festival authorities. They've looked after us so well, very well, and the hospitality was wonderful. The punctuality, the professionalism was bang on. Each one of us was assigned with, how do we say, a colleague who looked after us, who not only made sure that we were watching the movies and the reels were turning in time, but made sure that we were eating well, sleeping well, all that. So with this, I think I would request my fellow jury members to share their experiences. Yeah.
Is this working? Yeah. I'd just like to say that Rakesh is being a little modest when he led us extremely capably and very wisely in our deliberations, which were in fact very difficult because of the quality of the films involved, as Rakesh has said. And I won't elaborate too much on that because I'm sure someone's going to have questions about that. But I personally have enjoyed myself very much being here, very impressed with the festival. Loved the opening parade. First festival I've ever been to that has an opening parade. and I was, apart from being super impressed with the diversity of the films, I was very heartened, in fact, by the fact that the films were as good as they were, because I just see a diminishing process in filmmaking at the moment. And in America, which is where I work, I was born in Australia, but I don't live there. I live in Los Angeles. Cinemas are closing down, and I teach at university there on occasion, and the students don't pay half as much attention to the screenplays as I wish they would. So I'm beating them over the brow about that all the time. And yet, even with my fears about the future of the film business, we've been looking at incredible movies that did not come from Netflix and all of the rest of them. And so they're very original and very heartfelt, all of them, And I wished we had a comedy in there, but I didn't get one. But we and as Rakesh mentioned, the children, a lot of the movies dealt with children's issues, and which tells me a lot about where we're at in the world. So I think I'll let this lady carry on. Yeah, but I know that sort of is heading in the right direction, but didn't quite make it.
I was expecting questions. Now here I am, and I can just make myself something up to say. I wasn't prepared for that, but I'm incredibly happy to be here, incredibly thankful to have the opportunity to be my first time ever in India, and to be my first time ever in Goa, and to be here on such a super lovely, beautiful occasion. And it's interesting. It might seem just like fun. It's been a lot of work too. Watching movies all the time, really concentrating, giving every movie the full attention that it deserves, and being fully there with jet lag and everything. But it's been beautiful. It's been a great experience. I must say it was very surprising, as the variety is so far from the movies, and I never felt like it's our job to compare different movies that you can't compare because they're just so different, and coming from such different aspects or perspectives on the world. And I felt like we didn't have to compare them, but we had it was just the beauty of experiencing all these stories, and then of of having the great gift of awarding special, giving these awards away to support filmmakers all over the world with these awards. And for me, it's been a great experience to be. It's so beautiful sitting in the middle of this bunch of my gang. So it was. I'm very thankful to have been part of this great jury. And I remember there was a moment in the very end. We were sitting together in the lounge and just chit chatting away. And everybody we had to wait for some papers to be signed, and everybody started talking about little anecdotes of their lives, either about filmmaking, about their approach to filmmaking, or about stories that happened during filmmaking in the course of their lives. And I had the feeling I was sitting there in the middle of film history and having like the most beautiful master class, attending the most beautiful private master class. And in that moment, I thought it was just very thankful for the festival for having me in such great company. So yeah, thank you.
Good evening, friends. For me, this was a great experience. First of all, I must thank the authorities for inviting me to be a member of the judging group. It was a great pleasure to be around our fellow friends here on this dais, getting to know them and talking to them. It was a wonderful experience, and I hope it's a continuation of a good friendship. And also, we have already discussed about the quality of the list of films. They were excellent. Our discussions about them was very stimulating. Some of us did not agree about everything, but then we talked about it, and it's a good process of judgment. I think it was very successful. And I would not want to end without thanking you, like you said, our assistants. They are magnificent, and I would say that they are they're the future leaders of this country. Thank you very much.
On this note, may I request you to stand up and show yourself to the press?
Yes.
Guys, it wouldn't have happened without them. Thank you so much.
Yeah, can we have your remarks?
Okay. My light isn't so bright. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It was a fantastic festival. I've really enjoyed it. Great jury members. We had some wonderful discussions and some great arguments. Is the volume up? Yeah. And I really enjoyed seeing so many different types of films. There's so many different types of films. It's quite amazing, and it's very inspiring because I've been working in the industry of photographing films for over 50 years. I started in 1968, and I thought everything had been done. But seeing the films in this festival, there's so many different types of films, which made it very hard for us to come to a decision which are the best. I mean, in a sense, every film should have an award, but of course that's impossible. But the thing that really struck me was there's so many films where children were major characters, so many films, and the child actors were amazing. So I think the future of our industry is safe in their hands. Working in India, looking at all these films, because it was work, because we sat through about 44 hours of film. So it's a lot to remember. It makes me really want to come to India and shoot a film. I'd love to do that. I've done a few documentaries in India, but never a fiction, never a feature film. But I had a fantastic time here, and everyone was so collaborative and helpful, and the hospitality was amazing. So I thank the organizers for making it smooth. Thank you.
Now we will open the floor for question and answers. Please also tell us about the organization from you.
I mean, basically, I keep following the international cinema in a big way, and I fully agree that the entire jury team, it's going to be a tough task to identify the eventual winner. And like people have said, each one of them is about child as a beat, these songs of Adam or anything you take, and they are so sensitive. And another thing is also some of them are even the poet. In fact, look at it, young child, another thing. The diversity, and one film from Iraq is something, another revelation in that sense. So in that sense, you guys really had a real taste, flavor of the entire world cinema in that sense. What I would like, I mean, in that sense, how do you look at today's thing, like you people saying it's the children? Once upon a time, it was the Iranian cinema that had children at the forefront of everything to convey whatever politics that was being played around the society. Now, children are becoming the kind of ambassadors for these directors. In that sense, how do you look at the kind of scenario emerging over that period of time? Anyone? Rakesh,
No, it's I would say it was not merely just a coincidence that it happened. Neither was it by design. It just happens to be that the world we are living in today is not the world I grew up as a child, and we are giving our kids and the younger generation an extremely tough time as such. And we've heard this before, that cinema does reflect life, and life reflects cinema, and we don't know which one comes first. And so, yeah, it tells a lot about what's going on.
We have come so far from the times of bicycle thieves, pickpocket, cinema paradiso to today's world, which is so violent and so very this one, and which is being reflected in the cinemas that we are actually looking at. Like Amaran, if you look at it, Amram, it's, I mean, even the kind of politics that this is the songs and the songs of Adam, it all, I mean, depicts today's scenario in that sense. Even my president's cake, I think, was there. I don't know. Even there, you see the kind of Iraqi politics that was actually happening.
This is Mahesh from All India Radio. We keep hearing about AI being used in films and that being a future where it can become a major part of filmmaking process. My question to you, Rakesh ji, is: do you foresee any possibility of using AI in some significant way for the jury process to overcome the biases or idiosyncrasies that may creep in while doing the work?
Uh, by the definition of it, is artificial. So you'll always get artificial response, not a human response. And whatever the algorithm says, fortunately, human beings are still there. We are still haven't entered such a dystopian era when AI takes over. But yes, it's looming right there. So let's see. There are a lot of voices around it. Time will tell us what it is. But having said that, filmmakers, storytellers, actors, the whole community has already warned the world about this even before it was born. There are many films about the artificial intelligence.
And I just wanted to add something about it. I think one thing that so far AI can't grasp, because it's not really to grasp, is poetry. And I think that making films and seeing films and being moved by films is very much about what's making us human. And that's probably exactly the difference to or the thing, the gap, luckily or hopefully it's always going to stay that way, that AI cannot have, because it's not human in that sense. So I believe that I can't really imagine AI ever being able to do a film jury's job, as it's so much about poetry.
My name is Satyendra Mohan. I have come from the capital of India, Delhi. I'm a freelance. This is my 43rd International Film Festival, which I am attending. My first International Film Festival was in 1983, which was held in Delhi. I just want to know the general impression of the jury about the overall film festival, the standard, and especially with respect to the films which have been made by the women directors.
You ask the question to a particular jury member, or is it to entire?
Madam?
Madam. Yeah, Catherine.
Can you answer? Yeah.
So the question was basically about the female directors, women directors. For some reason, I'm not even sure. While watching the movies, I never really thought about, is this film made by a woman or by a man? There are some films where it's somehow obviously obvious and you can feel it. There are a few where I couldn't have said while watching it. It could have been made by a man or a woman, and it simply didn't matter at all. And then, of course, there are some topics that are more really told from a women's perspective, which was also interesting in the reception. And then it was like, as we're I'm the only woman in the jury, but I must say, I think there was strong movies by women, by men. It was interesting that to me, it wasn't really. I never really thought about it. It didn't matter. I just watched the movies and I was pleased to watch them. But I think there's a lot of strong women in the competition as well. Really great movies, great films made by women and by men as well. So I'm happy about both, and very happy about, as far as Germany is concerned, there's still a lot more male directors than women, but it's changing. So that's of course a great thing to see in the competition films. I hope that's answering your question.
Can I say something?
Yes, Remy, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think Remy will do that.
Okay, can I just say, because of their international films, and I try not to know anything about the film before it starts, so I don't read any blurbs before the film starts. And with the international names, it's hard to know whether the director's male or female. Sometimes it's obvious, but with the names, I don't know whether it's a male name or a female name. And quite honestly, so many films, I had no idea whether it was a man or a woman. Maybe one or two films, it's very obvious this is a woman's perspective and this is a male. But the majority of the films, I had no idea until I saw the film and then read that the director was female. And I think it's really about telling a story. And technology and cinematography and sound and editing have all come together now, so that if you know what you want to say, it doesn't matter what sex you are. And what I would love to see is more women making films. But what I think would be really exciting is seeing children making films, because it's now possible for a child to make a film.
When a woman makes a film, at the back of her mind, she is looking at the problems of the women, and that subject will automatically come to her mind when she is making a film. So that is what I want to say, that over the years, over the time, the films which are made by the women, they are better films. The standard of these films are every time becoming better and better. That is my feeling. I don't know whether jury agrees with my feeling or not. That was my basic objective of knowing the question.
Quite obviously, it's like your 43rd International Film Festival, so you've definitely observed a graph and you're coming from there. I would like to submit at this point of view in the year 2025. I don't see a movie because it's made by a woman or a man or a man or a them or a they. I think we've gone past that in today's time. And men are equally handling women's subject very sensitively. And like the women are handling human subjects and other subjects very sensitively. So very happy to see this kind of a progress and this kind of intermingling. And it's more real. It's more real. It's for the love of cinema and not led by any other agenda. Yeah.
Any more questions? This will be the last question.
Adarsh from All India Radio. A term that is often thrown around film festival and award ceremony is bait. That a movie that is devised in a particular way that it checks all the boxes, that it should be sad, it should be of a very serious tone, maybe preferentially if it's a period movie. So how do you as a film jury find a movie that is actually trying to emotionally correct versus one that is attempting to connect with you, that something we only find in hindsight after the dust has settled?
Well, I don't think for myself, I don't approach any film with boxes to tick. I just look at the movie for what it is. And this gentleman's question, too, to me, it's irrelevant whether a woman made it or a man. And I think emphasizing that is not only unimportant, but could be, get in the way. But I just look at a film, and we all just looked at the films with our own eyes and with our own emotions, and then we talked about it. And we all come from different backgrounds and different experiences and different life experiences, and that's how an audience perceives a movie anyway. So, I mean, I don't think whether it's a period movie or a documentary or whatever it is, it's just something that you, as an individual, can evaluate and put into perspective with your life. And one of the things I was going to say earlier was that one of the reasons I was very keen, I've been to India several times, by the way. I've been in Goa 30 years ago. But what's important about, and what's relevant to me about the Indian cinema is that people still go to the movies as a group, as a community, and they sit next to people they don't necessarily know, and they watch a movie and experience it together. I think that's very, very important, because we are losing humanity because of technology all the time, and we need to get back together again. And I think India is leading the way and has been forever, ever since I first came here. I mean, you've always been a cinema-going audience, and I hope you always will be. And sorry I got off the track a bit.
Any more questions? So now with this, we close the press conference. I'll request the jury members to kindly come here, and we'll have a brief photograph and by presentation was memento from PIB.
Thank you.